Back-to-back ranked opponents for Temple football, and it didn't get much easier in Atlanta.
Plus, the Owls are down a running back after Therese Worthy leaves the team following the loss to Georgia Tech. We'll have a live report.
I'm OwlSports Update's Julia Green. Temple Gymnastics has a new home off campus for the foreseeable future, and it's all thanks to a plumbing problem. I'll explain.
And I'm Jaden Vallejo at the studio set. Temple's top fall team has 3 freshmen who grew up just a few hours from each other, but they traveled thousands of miles across the ocean to play field hockey together in college. I have their story. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to another edition of OwlSports Update. Joined by Emily Notaris, I'm Jackson Batchler.
Lots to get to. Field hockey continues its win streak. Volleyball and golf both host their own tournaments.
But we start with football, and the Owls are losing one of their top running backs. OwlSports Update's Xaxier Johnson was the first to report this news on Wednesday and joins us now at the studio set.
Yes, Jackson. The news came down on Wednesday. I talked with Worthy about his future with the Owls, and he said it was time to leave the team for what he called personal reasons. Bottom line, Worthy wasn't getting that much play time under first-year head coach Casey Keeler. In hindsight, maybe this shouldn't have been a big surprise. Worthy was one of the focal points of Temple's run game in 2024 with Stan Drayton in charge. He rushed for more than 400 yards for a Temple team that really struggled on the ground. Now in 2025, his carries have greatly diminished to the point where he is just 4th on the team in rush yards, well behind Jay Ducker, who came to the Temple with Keeler from Sam Houston. Worthy had rushed for just 23 times for 71 yards this season. That's an average of just 3 yards per touch. Leaving the team now does make a lot of sense for Worthy. In the NCAA, you can play up to 4 games in the season and still redshirt. So by leaving Temple now, Worthy retains his final 2 years of eligibility. But now we know he will play somewhere else. This was Worthy's 2nd season at Temple after transferring to North Broad from a junior college in Scranton. Reporting from the studio set, I'm Xaxier Johnson. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Xavier. As for Worthy's former team, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. This past Saturday, the Owls flew down south to take on their 2nd straight Power 4 nationally ranked football team. On the menu, an undefeated Georgia Tech team coming off a monster upset over Clemson a week earlier. Haynes King is a true dual-threat quarterback, and he shows it off early as he takes the read option into the end zone for 6. Then, a play fake for the Yellow Jackets as Malik Rutherford gets the screen and turns on the Jets as he makes a few Owl defenders miss for a 24-yard touchdown score. The Owls needed a spark on offense, and Evan Simon is going to give them one. He doesn't run much, but he keeps it here himself, and he's got a running lane, and he goes all the way down inside the 5-yard line. Then, big 4th down for Temple, and Jay Ducker is going to take it right up the middle, and the Owls are on the board. It's 21-7. Owls looking for a stop, and they're going to get one as Cameron Stewart picks up his 4th sack of the year. In the second half, the Owls strike early. Simon connects with JoJo Bermudez, and all of a sudden, it's a 1-possession game, 21-14. But the Yellow Jackets then go on a 24-3 run. And late in the 4th, Giovanni McCoy, he finds Xavier Irvin for his first touchdown catch of the season. Owls fall 45-24.
Let's take a look at the AAC football standings, focusing on the top 10. After 4 weeks, there are still many teams in the AAC without a conference game. Navy leads the way with a 2-0 start, with North Texas and Rice right behind. 7 teams have yet to jump into conference play, including Temple, but that will all change in weeks 5 and 6 as conference play ramps up. The Owls face off against UTSA after the bye week.
Temple football has had a tough 2 weeks, dropping 2 straight after a strong start to the season.
We're joined by Inside the Nest anchor Xavier Adams to take a look at the 500 club heading into the bye week. Xavier, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Xavier, starting off with kind of the big news from the top of the show, obviously Therese Worthy no longer on the roster. How does this affect this Temple offense going forward?
Yeah, when you see a guy like Therese Worthy and you see the athleticism and speed that he brings to a game, you immediately assume that this is going to be a huge loss for the Temple offense. But in all honesty, I think as we heard the tall Xavier mentioned earlier, his carries are starting to wane off. And Casey Keeler, when he came to Temple, he brought with him Sam Houston running back Jay Ducker. Now he's taken a majority of the handoffs for this running back rotation. And now with Therese Worthy leaving, we're only going to see guys like Joe Quiz Smith and like Hunter Smith step up and have to take more reps within that rotation. So I don't see it affecting this Temple offense that much, honestly.
So the Owls were much more competitive against Georgia Tech than they were against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Even though it was a lopsided loss, like, what do you think was different down in Atlanta?
Yeah, and just comparison to those two games, I think we just saw a lot of more offensive poise out of this team. Now, that's not to say they didn't have their obvious flaws. The Temple offensive line didn't look good at all. But you know, Evan Simon was forced to carry the ball 14 times, just as many times as Jay Ducker. You can't have that when you're playing a team like Georgia Tech. But that's not to say we didn't see good flashes of the pan from both sides. JoJo Bermudez had 4 receptions for a touchdown. Jay Ducker had a touchdown as well. We see these guys start to come together, and in the second quarter, the defense, as we mentioned, they held Georgia Tech completely scoreless with 9 yards. That only happened 3 times. There was a lot of good things to take away from this game. There's no such thing as a good loss in college football, but 45-24 for Temple isn't bad given the situation.
So looking at, UTSA game, obviously Robert Henry last year had a crazy game, 178 yards, 2 scores.
Yes.
What makes him so unstoppable?
He's just an absolute problem right now. He looks to me like one of, if not the best running back in the entire American Conference. He's put up, last game alone, he put up 220 all-purpose yards with over 75 of those yards coming through the air. He can do it on all fronts, and he's put up 6 100-yard games in his last consecutive 6 games. It's ridiculous to look at. He's put up a 74-plus yard rush in each of those games. He has the explosive plays, and he makes them so often. That's why he's so dangerous. Jeff Traylor, the head coach for UTSA, he's built an incredible veteran offensive line for this running back. There are a couple transfers coming in, but they all have a lot of snaps under their belt, and they bring a lot for that UTSA offense.
So I know it still might be early in the season, but how important is this matchup against UTSA if the Owls want to compete in a possible bowl game?
It's huge. You can't underestimate this game enough because of the fact that this is going to act as a measuring stick for the Owls. When you play a team like UTSA, this is a team that was considered to be in the top 3 of the conference preseason. They're still looking to be that way right now. If you come out of this game and you potentially get a win against a team like UTSA, you're not only proving to yourself, but you're proving to the rest of the conference that you can keep up with these guys that are in that upper echelon. So no doubt a huge game for the Owls coming up.
Well, Xavier, thank you so much for being here with us.
Of course. Thanks for having
me.
me.
You can catch Xavier and the rest of the Inside the Nest crew every Tuesday at noon, live on TUTV.
As Casey Keeler settles into his rookie season as head coach, he's also entertaining fans on Temple Talk. What started as a radio show is now being broadcast on TUTV, giving fans a closer look at Temple's football program. OwlSports Update Samantha Amons brings us to Maxie's for the show.
Saturday afternoons at Lincoln Financial Field isn't the only time fans can see head coach Casey Keeler up close and personal.
These dominant offensive lines.
Every Wednesday at Maxie's on campus, Keeler talks football, but this isn't your regular coach's talk show. Temple Talk used to be radio only, but this year, for the first time, it's now also a TV show, hosted by the voice of Temple Athletics, Kevin Kopp.
Then this year is really special, now having it on TUTV for the first time. So it's just different platforms, different ways of getting the Temple message out from our coaches and student athletes.
This digital live radio show isn't new. It's been on the air for 4 years, but this is the first season where fans not only listen to it live on Wednesdays, but watch it a live televised recording at noon on Fridays.
This actually came out of a conversation with athletic director Arthur Johnson. We were aiming to build a bigger partnership between TUTV and Temple Athletics.
Temple Talk Football runs for 1 hour and includes not only Keeler, but also players and assistant coaches. It's produced by media students at Klein College.
Number 18 team in the country, they beat Clemson.
I think it definitely gives students like me a chance to show off what I could do and just work on something from the ground up. This is the first time that a show like this is really being filmed.
With students, coaches, and fans involved, Temple Talk is more than just a sports show. It's a campus conversation, now on multiple platforms. At Maxie's, I'm Samantha Ammons, OwlSports Update.
Temple Talk is taking this Friday off, thanks to the bye week. Casey Keeler and host Kevin Kopp will be at Maxie's next week talking about the UTSA game.
Break time. Up next, volleyball and women's soccer had strong showings this past weekend at home.
And so did Temple's field hockey team. I'm OwlSports Update's Jaden Vallejo at the studio set. The Owls keep winning at the Temple Sports Complex, and some of this is due to the trio of international freshmen from the Netherlands. I've got the story when we come back in 90 seconds.
Welcome back. Temple's fall season is very busy with all sorts of sports all over campus.
Let's break down how some of the other cherry and white teams are doing as we head into October. Men's soccer is on a 2-game losing streak in conference after the loss to FAU at home. Women's soccer stands at 3-8, coming off of one of the best games so far this season in a shutout win over Lincoln. Volleyball is 10-4 and riding a 4-match win streak after its Tuesday win versus Penn. Finally, cross country had 2 invitationals, finishing 5th and 10th at the start of its season.
Now to some of those highlights. On Sunday, women's volleyball hosted Dartmouth as part of the Cherry and White Invitational. Owls in the white. Leah Harper leads the team in kills, and she shows exactly why. She gets the setup here and spikes it for no return from the big green. Daniela Gonzalez-Murati sets up her teammate, and Alyssa Finister makes the defensive play. The Owls get the sweep 3-0, and Temple also sweeps the weekend with 2 more wins over Presbyterian and Quinnipiac.
Women's soccer took over the game on Sunday with its matchup against Lincoln. The Owls were at home and in the first half put 4 goals in the net. The first goal of the day came from sophomore number 9, Shari Atkins. Not even a minute later, Brianna Parker hit a goal from way out, putting the Owls up 2-0. It doesn't stop there. Freshman Delaney Holker finds the net nearing the end of the first, and with a few minutes to go, put another point on the board, making it 4-0 at half. The second half of the game tells the same story, with the Owls scoring back-to-back goals, making it a final score of Temple 6, Lincoln 0. This one breaks the Owls' 6-game slide. It's their most lopsided win since 2017.
No team is hotter on campus than the field hockey team. The Owls last played on Friday in their Big East opener and picked up a win in the nation's capital against Georgetown. The final score, 2-1. Peyton Reiger and Lucia Magro each had a goal in the win.
With this win, field hockey is off to its best start since 2022 at 7-1 overall. And one reason, the Owls have one of the top scorers in the Big East. Joining us at the studio is OwlSports Update Danny Podolsky with this story. Hey, Danny.
Emily, yes, the Owls are playing as well as any team in the Big East. During this 5-game win streak, one Temple Owl has proven herself to be one of the most dangerous scorers in the league. I'm talking about senior Peyton Reiger. At the moment, she sits at 3rd place in the Big East in goals scored with 5. She also leads the Owls in points with 13. She's tied for the team lead in assists with 3. And not to mention, she's also coming off being named Big East Player of the Week.
My teammates have been the key to my success. I mean, I can't score unless they give me the ball, and we've been doing a really good job outletting and breaking the ball through the midfield, and I'm just able to finish the job in the circle. Really important. I think that I'm just trying to do my best for my teammates. We've all put in so much work in the off season and in the summer to have these big goals of a conference championship, and I'm able to contribute to that success so far.
Reiger and the Owls return to action on Friday for a conference matchup against Villanova. The Owls will be looking for revenge in this one. The Wildcats beat Temple 3-0 last season. At the studio set, I'm Danny Podolsky, taking a penalty cross back to you in the desk.
Thank you, Danny. When you're 7-1, you can only assume that team chemistry is a big part of it.
For the Owls, a few teammates share a common background. OwlSports Update Jaden Vallejo joins us on the desk to discuss. Hey, Jaden.
Yes, not only 3 players with a common background, but 3 players in the same graduating class. Yet, yes, guys, the theme is full of international faces. That's not always unusual, but having 3 of those players come from the same small country is worth taking a look at. When you think of international recruits, a variety of countries probably come to mind. But for Temple's field hockey team, no country has been more important to the Owls than the Netherlands. Temple has 5 players on the roster from the European country, including 3 freshmen.
We all in the same situation, so we can talk about it together and just, I don't know, if you miss people, you just go to each other and they help each other. Yeah, help each other.
Number 22, Mara Lenting. Number 21, Lise Korver.
and number 10, Lunica Kirchhoff, all chose to travel thousands of miles to play together at Temple.
For mij was maybe the big reason just Michelle, the head coach.
Yeah, me too.
I had a good connection with her, and I don't know, I like the city, and that was also a main priority.
Head coach Michel Batiste says the heavy recruitment from the Netherlands is not a coincidence, as the Dutch have produced some of the world's best.
Internationals bring like a certain element of, just tactical and technical knowledge that they've been learning since they were very young. They also
Back at home, these three freshmen live just an hour or two away from each other, which makes it even more interesting that they would come 4,000 miles just to play at Temple.
The three have combined for 5 goals, 11 points, and 16 starts as the Owls are off to a 7-1 start, their best since 2022. 3 freshmen from overseas, making a name for themselves by winning games in their new home.
We talked about the Owls' next game on Friday against Villanova. It's actually a part of a 2-game weekend home set. Temple will also host Richmond at home on Sunday.
Jaden, great stuff. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Jaden. Men's golf had its first action of the season as the Owls spent the beginning of the week in the Philly suburbs, participating in the Temple Invitational.
Plus, Temple just received a grant from the NCAA, which goes towards an app to better athletes' mental health and post-grad plans. We'll take a look.
And I'm Julia Green, live at Pearson McGonigal Hall. Some plumbing problems have Temple Gymnastics traveling several times a week across town for practices. I'll explain when OwlSports Update returns.
Welcome back. Temple Gymnastics has changed practice locations due to a plumbing issue at Pearson and McGonigal Hall. OwlSports Update Julia Green has the details. She's live at Pearson McGonigal, staying on dry land. Hey, Julia.
Thanks, guys. Pearson McGonigal Hall is normally home to Temple Gymnastics' practice facility, but after a pipe burst flooded their gym, they are forced to find a new place to get their work in. I talked to the team to learn about how they are adjusting.
Temple Women's Gymnastics has officially begun its preseason practices, but they're doing it on the road. A pipe burst at Pearson McGonigal Hall on campus in late August has pushed the Owls out of their home in North Philly.
Now, despite the setback, Temple Gymnastics has been able to continue practicing with the help of a local friend. That friend? The University of Pennsylvania's gymnastics program. They've been practicing here in University City until they're able to return to their home gym.
We have a really gritty team, and you grow up kind of having to adjust to new events at like every single meet that we do.
Temple makes this trip to Penn 3 times a week for 3-hour practices.
We've always been very close with the Penn coaches and tried to help each other out when we can, so having that relationship has helped us immensely, and we're very thankful to have the opportunity to use their space.
Even though the Owls aren't at home, they're putting a positive spin on this new practice routine.
I think it actually says a lot, definitely about the resilience and the dedication that we have as a team. I think it really gives like an opportunity for all of us to come closer and really build like that sisterhood. Every athlete is different, and it really just makes us really think like, okay, what does this athlete need? What do you need? And we're all going through the same thing. So it's really a good bonding moment and a really nice new story to tell.
There is still no word on exactly when the Owls will be back in their practice gym, but there is good news. Their competitions are held on the first floor of Pearson McGonigal Hall, which was not impacted by the flood. Live from Pearson McGonigal Hall, I'm Julia Green. Guys, back to you.
Yeah. Men's golf began its season earlier this week as the Owls hosted the Temple Invitational. This took place about a half-hour away at the 1912 Club in Plymouth Meeting. The Owls found themselves tied for 8th place as they finished with an overall team score of +37 through 3 rounds. Sophomore Mason Tone performed the best individually for the Owls as he was 2 over par. Drexel, LaSalle, and Lehigh all tied for first as the 3 squads went 17 over par. The most impressive round, however, went to Francis Marion with a 3 under par in the first round.
The final break is coming your way. Next up, a team at Temple has put together a new app that supports student athletes in their mental health, among other areas, in their postgraduate years.
We'll take a look when OwlSports Update returns.
Welcome back. Life after being a D1 student athlete isn't easy. Moving on from the sport they've loved and played most of their lives often leaves a huge void. Now, there is a new app addressing life after college athletics, and a group of Temple educators, athletes, and doctors is right in the middle thanks to a grant from the NCAA.
The NCAA is focusing on more than just collegiate athletics during their time in school, and Temple is helping make it happen. Temple was one of 3 schools selected for the NCAA 2025 research grant. The grant centers on an AI app which aims to help college athletes with their lives after graduation, starting with support for mental health.
This gap between someone suffering in silence and then being connected to the resources on campus that they have access to, I think that's where we found there's a huge gap.
The grant is worth $100,000, and Temple's goal is to help develop this app for its release to all NCAA institutions in 2027.
Something that the NCAA does with this grant is they try to fund innovative work. So this is really a first of its kind project using AI and athlete mentorship.
Taylor, alongside founders Jeff Nyquist and former Temple athletes Robin Getz and Taylor Davenport, developed this AI app called Journey.
I think like a tool, a platform like this is perfect. I was able to work and help as I was making that transition.
This team has big aspirations for this project, hoping to expand across the country to help student athletes at Division 1, 2, and 3 schools.
This crew from Temple conducted a pilot study in the spring. The grant will allow them to turn the pilot study into a working model from coast to coast.
One more exciting note coming from Taylor Davenport, who we just heard from on Wednesday. She was nominated for the NCAA Woman of the Year Award for her work on the court and in the classroom this past school year. Davenport is the 3rd Owl to be nominated for this award. She is truly an amazing woman.
Taking a look at the weekend schedule, on Friday, field hockey hosts Villanova at Howard Field. In another important Big East game, Owls looking to remain undefeated in the conference. Volleyball then heads to Houston to face Rice, and men's soccer heads up I-95 to take on Monmouth University. On Saturday, surprisingly, not a single Temple team is in action. But don't worry, on Sunday, field hockey remains at home to take on Richmond. Women's soccer will head down to Boca Raton for a matchup against FAU. And volleyball remains down south, this time in New Orleans to take on Tulane.
You can catch OwlSports Update every Thursday at noon, as well as our football show Inside the Nest every Tuesday at noon, both airing live on TU TV. You can also tune into our weekly sports briefs posted every Monday at noon on our X and Instagram account at OwlSports Update.
That is going to be all the time that we have for today's edition of OwlSports Update.
From TV Studio 3 inside Annenberg Hall, he is Jackson Batchler, and I'm Emily Notaris. Have a great day and a safe weekend. Always go Owls.